Welcome to the Containment Zone, where silence is never truly silent, where the lens you trust is the one that betrays you. In the vaults beneath classified soil, some anomalies scream, others run, and a few simply wait. Today's file is about one that doesn't move, not visibly, not outwardly, but you'll feel it eventually. An object older than its wood, a coffin that doesn't hold the dead, it holds a mirror, and that mirror watches back. This is the file of SCP-895. Object class, Euclid. Designation, the camera coffin. It does not kill, it does not move, and yet it never stops showing us what we shouldn't see. They say the first breach came from a monastery already in ruins, the husk of an abandoned structure swallowed by moss, ash, and time. No Foundation personnel were dispatched at first. It was a freelance drone operator from a salvage crew, mapping regional interiors for architectural survey. The drone's feed was routine, silent, panning through candle-blackened halls. No readings, no sound, no light. Then the video feed glitched. Once, then again, and then it stayed glitched. The drone didn't malfunction, the signal didn't cut, but the screen began showing things that weren't in the monastery. Flickering rooms with warped geometry. People with no faces. A corridor that seemed to bend, only when the drone turned away. The salvage crew monitoring the feed collapsed within minutes. Emergency responders found the surveillance van abandoned. All screens frozen on one frame. A dark, coffin-shaped object resting on a stone platform, surrounded by melted floor tiles. The camera wasn't even facing the object directly, but the image shimmered softly, subtly, like it was alive. Every person who viewed that live feed suffered psychological collapse within 72 hours. One technician gouged out both eyes, whispering, "Don't let it see me again." Another died of cardiac arrest while dreaming. And just one left a note before walking into the ocean. It isn't what's inside, it's what it remembers. The drone was recovered. It had no physical damage, but when its onboard footage was extracted, the timestamp looped continuously between 2 seconds, showing an empty hallway, and then a hallway containing something else. A wooden box. Or a window. Or perhaps both. The object was secured, designated SCP-895, contained, but never truly isolated. Site-19 deployed MTF Theta-9 for acquisition. Upon arrival at the monastery, they encountered an impossible layout. GPS mapping indicated a small chapel and crypt, no more than 20 meters square. Yet the operatives reported walking nearly 70 meters underground before finding the central chamber. No cameras were operational. No lights stayed lit, the walls burnt, ceiling collapsed. Yet the center was untouched. There, sitting on smooth stone, was the coffin. No carvings on the lid, no ornamentation, only iron bands humming ever so slightly with heat not felt but understood. Theta-9 followed standard protocol, but the feed sent back to base was already compromised. Operators walked through walls that didn't exist. Their shadows detached and moved independently. One helmet cam showed a member with no body, just floating gear, speaking in reverse. Footage corrupted itself in real time. After exfiltration, all video logs were quarantined. Of the 12 operatives present, 6 reported recurring dreams of being buried alive. 2 lost memory continuity and could no longer differentiate real-time from playback. H. Brewer disappeared from the site entirely. Her access logs showed her last recorded presence outside Surveillance Room 3B, where a monitor had been left on by mistake. Security footage from that room shows no activity, only static. Until, 5 minutes in, the monitor displays her reflection, alone, weeping. Brewer was never found. Her locker, sealed under Site-19 protocol, now contains a recording device that re-records over itself every 24 hours, even when powered off. SCP-895 is physically unremarkable. A wooden casket, 2.1 meters long, composed of aged oak with oxidized iron reinforcement. No hinges are visible. No entry points. No inscriptions. Yet the surface gives the impression of as if it's aware of being watched, even when closed. In-person observation reveals nothing anomalous. It does not vibrate. It does not emit noise. It does not open. But viewed through any mechanical lens, live video, recorded feed, mirrored reflection, infrared pulse, the object changes. The interior flickers into visibility. Or, rather, a version of it. Different cameras produced different scenes. A child curled inside the coffin, mouthing something wordless. Rows of teeth glued into the wood grain. A mirror showing not the coffin but the viewer's own funeral. A coffin with a camera mounted inside, filming back. These images persist even when the original feed is erased. In some tests, recordings reproduce themselves onto disconnected drives. In one alarming case, a reel of tape burned itself into a wall-mounted LCD screen, which had no playback capability. Audio anomalies include whispers in dead languages, reversed sentences, or mechanical ticking resembling a human heartbeat. One D-class subject observed SCP-895 through a modified analog camera. He began describing a hallway made of mouths, then entered a fugue state. His final statement before silence was, "It remembers every time I was alone." Containment was not immediate. In the 3 days between discovery and relocation to Site-19, SCP-895 signal leaked, not through traditional channels, but through suggestion. Trace fragments of its presence began appearing across Foundation-monitored data streams. It began subtly. A second-long audio spike in a UN security feed. A corrupted pixel blur in a live stream viewed by less than 100 people. A frame captured by a wildlife camera in Siberia, now stored in a lead-lined vault. Then the incidents escalated. A group of digital archivists in Belgium, hired to clean corrupted satellite archives, vanished after reporting a file loop showing an old wooden shape inside a cathedral that doesn't exist. The only remaining screenshot was extracted from a cloud cache 14 days later. A teenager in New Zealand uploaded a 3-second TikTok audio snippet labeled "Found Footage Glitch" that consisted of overlapping whisper loops. 4 commenters reported nosebleeds within 24 hours. A funeral home in Nevada live-streamed a family ceremony, during which the screen briefly cut to static. Later analysis revealed that 5 frames contained mirrored footage of SCP-895's cell at Site-19, despite the site never being online. A game developer in Berlin added what he believed was an unplaceable filter into a horror game. The effect replicated SCP-895's visual disruption patterns. After launch, 3 players reported recurring dreams of being filmed while sleeping. One wrote, "The camera's inside my mouth. I can hear it blink." All instances were flagged, scrubbed, and contained. But with each report, Foundation analysts noticed a disturbing pattern. None of these signals came directly from SCP-895. The object remained sealed, untouched, and unmonitored, which meant the anomaly had shifted. From being broadcast to being remembered, the Foundation responded with full asset lockdown. Protocol Zeta 895 was initiated, one of the few containment procedures that required no monitoring whatsoever. All visual devices within 300 meters of SCP-895 were dismantled or incinerated. Lighting was reduced to ambient red only. Sound recording equipment was muted at the hardware level. No reflections, no cameras, no glass, but the bleed-through continued. Personnel on unrelated sublevels began showing symptoms of indirect exposure, paranoia, recurring dreams of being watched from the inside, a sudden compulsion to avoid mirrors and windows. One surveillance technician, assigned nowhere near SCP-895, was found standing in the recording bay of an unused observation chamber, watching a blank monitor. His logs showed he'd been uploading video footage from cameras that didn't exist. The files contained only black static, until played backwards. Then, each showed a figure inside a coffin, filming from within. A Level 4 debrief team was deployed. Cognitive hazard scans showed no infection. But audio transcripts revealed something stranger. The technician believed he had been assigned to watch his own memories. When asked to clarify, he whispered, "They're being filmed from before they happened." Following this incident, the Ethics Committee ordered a reclassification of SCP-895, not merely as a reality-bending object, but as an autonomous mnemonic entity. Its influence wasn't limited to devices anymore. It had become entangled with perception itself, and with memory. The Foundation removed all metadata from past 895 files, removed timestamps, destroyed logs. Even now, some staff claim to remember footage that no longer exists, or perhaps never did. At the core of SCP-895 lies not malice nor agency, but a question: what does it record? Some believe the object captures death itself, projecting the last thoughts of the observer before they die. Others propose a more chilling theory, that SCP-895 doesn't record your death. It creates a version of you that has already died and forces you to remember it. As the theories multiplied, a divide formed inside the ethics committee. One faction argued for total sensory nullification, to bury SCP-895 in concrete, sever it from all interaction, mental or otherwise. But the others disagreed. They feared that isolation would only make its signal more symbolic, more ideological. One member compared it to the eye of providence. Even when it cannot be seen, it implies observation. Another described a recurring dream. I open the coffin and see myself, watching me, from behind my own eyes. The argument reached a crisis point when a high-ranking researcher, Dr. Isabel Mora, experienced a spontaneous blackout during a Level 3 clearance review. She collapsed while viewing a blank screen. She had not accessed SCP-895 in years, but her mind produced 27 seconds of corrupted footage, which was later found rendered into her EEG brain scan. It showed her walking slowly into her own funeral. The footage ends when she looks directly into the camera and smiles. No such funeral occurred, but a chair at Site 19 was left empty the next day. SCP-895 remains silent, still, closed. It sits beneath layers of metal, stone, and time. No lights shine within its chamber. No personnel are assigned. The Foundation has stopped recording. But that doesn't mean it's over. Sometimes, in the deepest archives, corrupted video fragments appear without explanation. They show doors that don't exist, coffins in rooms never built, faces that resemble Foundation staff only slightly wrong, mirrors without reflections, recordings of future events, and in each, somewhere near the edge of the frame, always the hint of a lid, just barely ajar. The belief now is that SCP-895 never needed a camera. It needed belief in one. Its anomaly was never radiation or mechanics, it was anticipation. And now, even those who know of it become vectors for the effect. Just remembering the image can be enough to seed the perception, to conjure the reflection, to make the coffin real. If you're still hearing this, if your screen flickered even once, if you caught your own face briefly in a reflection that wasn't yours, then maybe the recording has already begun. There is no file to delete, no footage to rewind, no tape to pull from the reel. There is only what you see, and what sees you. Thank you for observing another anomaly from the Containment Zone. If you're still with us, don't check the feed, don't review the tape, and above all else, don't blink. Because the coffin doesn't need to open, it just needs to be remembered. And now, you've already seen it.